to you about the importance of the music that you listen to when you're writing. Now, on this channel, we're talking about starting your stories. The goal is to overcome writer's block so that we can recapture the joy of writing, so that we can start with that blank page and make it beautiful by filling it with our thoughts and our creativity and our words. And one of the ways that we can do that is by setting up the right environment. And for many of us, that environment includes music. But did you know that the type of music that you choose and also the level or decibel of music that you choose can have an influence over how well it may work for you? So today I've done some research and I'm going to present the actual neuroscience that connects writing and music that can help you actually overcome writer's block and keep those words flowing. Psychological research has some very specific clues about what works best and very clear answers about how sound impacts our brains during the writing process. Today we're going to break down what the science says about writing, noise, and focus, and how you can set up the perfect soundtrack and the perfect sound level for your next writing session. So when you're writing is not just a visual task, it's a verbal one. So when you're writing, your brain relies on a system called the phonological loop, which is in your working memory. This is a temporary inner voice that you're using to hold words and process them before you type or write them down. So when you're playing music with words or lyrics, what happens is the linguistic information in the song is actually competing for space with those words that you're holding in your working memory. So your brain is trying to do two things at once. It's trying to process the meaning of the lyrics in the song. At the same time, it's trying to formulate the words that you're typing or writing. So the result is that you're writing slower, you're probably making more mistakes, and you get tired out faster, which may actually result in writer's block. So does this mean you need to write in complete silence? Not at all. In fact, this is where instrumental music comes in. Now, slow tempo instrumental music, think about lo-fi beats, calming classical music, or ambient soundscapes like gentle rain can come in. Now, these are actually highly effective for maintaining focus, especially during longer and more demanding writing sessions. Now, scientifically, instrumental music does two things. First, it elevates your physiological arousal to an optimal level, meaning that it keeps your brain awake, alert, and focused, which is what we want. Now, second, because it doesn't include lyrics, it's not going to be consuming your verbal working memory capacity. The sweet spot keeps your mind from wandering off topic without interfering with the actual words that you're trying to write. Now let's talk about sound levels. You might be interested to learn that absolute quiet is not your best friend. Researchers have found that moderate ambient noise right around 70 decibels actually enhances your creative cognition. So if you're working on a creative story, or you're working on your novel, or you're brainstorming some new ideas, this is something you might want to consider. And here's what the science says about it. The science says that a moderate level of background noise creates a very light processing difficulty for your brain. So it forces your brain to work just a tiny bit harder to process information. The slight disruption actually encourages abstract thinking and higher level creative problem solving. But be careful. If the noise is too quiet, around 50 decibels or lower, your brain doesn't get that creative spark. And if it's too loud, say around 85 or above, if you're in a noisy restaurant, or think about the sound of heavy traffic, well, it overwhelms your working memory and it's going to completely ruin your focus. So you want that moderate 70 decibel sweet spot. Now you might be wondering, well, how do I know this? How can I measure this for myself? So the good news is there's actually a free app that you can download. And when you're playing your music, you can have the app test the decibel level for you. Now this might be different if you're wearing headphones, so be careful of that. But let's say that you're in your living room or your bedroom and you're not wearing headphones, definitely try the 70 decibel volume, and you can test it with the app and see what you think. So how do we apply this information to our daily writing routines, or if you're a teacher, to your classrooms? Well, here's a couple of recommendations. First of all, unless you know that writing with lyrics really helps you, take a break from songs with lyrics and go for something more instrumental, lo-fi. If you like EDM, I think the EDM has some good beats to it that you can use. Classical music or nature sounds like gentle rain could be a good choice as well. Second, embrace that ambient noise level. We're looking about 70 decibels. We don't want it to be too quiet. We don't want it to be too loud. We're looking for that sweet spot where we get just that little bit of spark for our brain to get engaged and focused, but we don't want too little and we don't want too much. It's kind of like the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. We want to get it just right so we can just write. Let's take that blank page. Let's make it beautiful. Thanks for being here with me today. For more suggestions on how you can overcome writer's block, I hope you'll subscribe to Start Your Story with Rachel.